Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. You just believe, you just believe, you just believe, you just believe. Listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 if you just believe.
Are you okay there? Just sat there.
I'm trying to think, Joe.
Yo, what is
Johnny.
it to think about at this point?
I'm trying to use my brain for once in my life. Do we cook City tonight and, you know, really relive the pain of the weekend? Or do we talk about the obvious? Think before you speak, you pussies. Yeah?
Uh-oh.
Think before you speak. Think before you act. Think before you copy celebrations. And think before you mock the treble winners. You pussies, you losers, you trophyless clowns. You have nothing going for you. You losers. Yeah? We will talk about City. Don't you worry. But you, stay the fuck humble. Stay humble. Do not cook us for beating us. And then go get knocked out of the Carabao Cup 4-0 by Newcastle. Yeah? Didn't like it when Trippier was taking the piss out of you tonight, did you, huh? The only thing we were missing tonight was a Newcastle player doing the Haaland celebration. That's all we were missing. Until then, go suck yourselves. Until you win a major trophy, don't take the piss out of my players. Don't take the piss out of Haaland. Don't take the piss out of Man City, because you haven't a clue what you're talking about, you pack of losers. Anyways, big up. Welcome to the stream. LB Raid, big up to you, LB, for sending all the boys through. Welcome, troops. Welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about it all, mate. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to cook Arsenal. We're going to cook City. But it's going to have to be done. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the likes, man. There's 250 people here. Get it up to 100 likes ASAP. You know, because it was like, if this stream was on the time it's normally at, Joe, which is yesterday, we would have been just sitting here, you know, complaining and moaning. But we have a big up the tune, man. Up the tune, we have something to at least clap back about. You know what I'm saying? Like, we will. I promise you, people. We'll talk about our opinions on the game on the weekend, because it has to be talked about. You know, we can't hide from that. But I'm sorry. Like, fair play. You beat us 5-1. That's a big result, big one-off win. Congrats. It is. Congrats. But on the grand fucking scheme of things, where has it got you? Where has it got you? And what has it done for you? Other than make you more insufferable than you actually are. What has it done for you? Nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Arsenal were serial winners over the past few years, I mean this genuinely, I would not be like this. I wouldn't. I'd say fair enough. It's a heated rivalry. Both successful teams going head to head for trophies. I'd say fair fucking enough. That's why we weren't like this with Liverpool. Because, and I know they're taking the mick out of us all the time for this love fest we have with Liverpool. It's not even a love fest. It's called understanding when your opposition is hugely successful, does have that pedigree, and does have that fear factor. You know, 6 times Champions League winners, 19 Premier Leagues, etc. With Liverpool, you kind of let them have their fucking arrogance. You have to. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to. But Arsenal, sorry. Like, put a sock in it. You know what I'm saying? Who gave you this chest? Who gave you this hall pass to strut around like Billy Big Bollocks? Because you won a game in February. Joe, how many teams have we had over the years beat us in title races and January, February, March? And we're not going to go on to win a league this time. But I cringe a bit. Am I here, Joe, still?
You got out for a second.
yeah. I mean, like my Wi-Fi is cringing as well. We will talk about the game. I promise you. Look, Joe, will you please talk, because I'm not sure where to go with this. My emotions are conflicted. I'm very not even happy that Arsenal lost. I'm just like, you deserved that. You did deserve that. You know. Go on, Joe. Talk to me.
They deserve it for missing the point completely about the whole stay humble. I hate this, by the way. Every time they've beaten us, and then they go, "Oh, stay humble, stay humble." You are missing the point. What?
Do you see Anthony Gordon? What is
I did see the quote. Someone put it in the chat before. Was it Fraser who put it in before? Yeah, Anthony Gordon. It's important for us to stay humble now. I mean, that's crazy. It. But he gets the quote. It. The whole point of the quote was not a stay humble, and then when you beat us, oh, stay humble back. No, the whole point of the quote was stay humble. I've won everything in English football already. You need to stay humble because you keep chatting like you've done that and you ain't won anything. So you need to, less of that. That's the whole point of the stay humble thing. And they just completely ran with it. They completely misunderstood it. They have promotional videos going out before big games, like movie cinematic trailers to big up a game. Every big game for them is a World Cup final. They celebrate like it as well. Do you remember the 0-0 last year where they celebrated it like that was the game to win him a Premier League title when they drew 0-0 with us? I mean, like, it's emotionally unstable FC. They play so high on emotions that when a team like Newcastle go and give it back and, play into the emotions and start trying to wind them up and get under their skin, it works. And they crumble and they start losing their heads. The stupid bookings. Raheem Sterling got a booking with like 5 minutes after coming on because he started gobbing off at the ref. And Kai Havertz was trying to fight people all game. It was the only thing that he was trying to do successfully, really, to be honest, based on his footballing ability. And it's things like that where if a team gives it out to them emotionally, Arsenal are liable to snap. And they snapped again today. And I mean, fair fucks, you beat us 5-1. Like, I'm not going to forget that. The last time we conceded 5, I believe, was at home to Leicester about 4 years ago. Like, we don't do that often. It just does not happen. So fair enough, you beat us 5-1. However, knocked out the FA Cup by Man United. Knocked out the Carabao Cup by Newcastle. Champions League. We know the thing there, teams that get to their first final tend not to win it. I know Arsenal got the one ages ago, so that's not something for them. But in terms of this team, it would be their first. So would they even get that far for one? No idea. But they've still got a long way to go in that. And Premier League looks unlikely because Liverpool just grind result after result after result. So, realistically speaking, your season, even though you beat us 5-1, is pretty much in the same position ours is. We're not going to win the league. You're not going to win the league. We're not going to win the Champions League, probably. You're probably not going to win it either. We can win the FA Cup by hook or by crook. You can't do that. You lost. You're out. You're done. Your season is same position as ours. Like, crazy talk.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get where the entitlement comes from. I don't get where the arrogance comes from. Look, Chat, hit the likes, man. Hit the likes. There's 200 people here. We're only on 50 likes, man. Let's get up to 100 likes rapid, man. Show some love. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're new around here, join the community, man. The HMTV army is active once again. We've taken a few breaks, but we've come back a few times too. We always come back for more. So hit the likes, man. Get up to 100. I just don't get it. Like I said, we will talk about the City game, but I just don't get it. I found the whole Gabriel thing. Like, there's a part of me goes, you know what? I like the beef. I like the beef. Bring the beef, because I fancy us to win the beef ultimately. You know what I'm saying, like, I'm a firm believer that clubs will beat us in battles, but we'll ultimately win the wars. I really do believe that, and I think we're building to win the wars in the future. But then there's another part of me is like, who are you, bro? Who are you? You know, Lewis Skelly, who are you, mate? You know what I'm saying? Who are you? If we, how do I get a good analogy for this? Yeah. See, when Phil Foden started out playing for Man City's first team, we'll call it 2017, when he made like 4 or 5 appearances. We won the league 100 points. If Phil Foden had turned around in like a Champions League match that season, yeah, or a Premier League match that season, against who was the big stars of that season in 2017 for other clubs? Off the top of my head, who was even there for other clubs, Joe? The big stars.
The big stars. I mean, that was, you know, Salamane Firmino time, wasn't it? That was around that sort of time.
Yeah, but not even
Hazard
then.
was still knocking about at Chelsea.
Hazard. If Foden turned around and started mocking Hazard, I'd have been like, Bill, your time will come, but it's not today. You know what I'm saying? It's not today, mate. Not the time to be taking the mick out of someone like Hazard. Lewis Skelly. Who are you, kid? I don't know you. No one knows you. And you're whipping out the meditation celebration bars. You know, like it's something you can just do. I like a young, ambitious player. I do. I appreciate it. I get it. But who are you to be doing that? Who are you to be pulling out that celebration on that player? Maybe if you had done the sniper celebration, the Phil Foden one, I would have said, okay, this, I don't like it, but maybe. But Haaland, you know? Erling Haaland. You're going to go on Imposter FC, exactly. Imposters, they're wannabes of what we and Liverpool have been over the last however many years, you know? They're wannabes of involvement in that. You don't have that juice, you know? You don't have that juice. For 21 years, no one's fucking heard of you properly. Yeah? No one's seen your team hit heights. All we've done is hear your fans yap and yap and yap. And you continue to yap and yap and yap. Phases, you know what I'm saying? Phases and progress and all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, you still end up with no trophies at the end of each season. And it's going that way this season too. So I just don't get it. I think they missed the mark with the stay humble. I think they wanted to take it the way they wanted to, which was the more childish route. Oh, they started it. No, the reality was you were told to stay humble because you've not imposed yourself yet. You've not put yourselves on the map properly yet. You know, this Arsenal team, Arsenal big club, no doubt. But this team, this crop, this generation of Arsenal players, you've not put yourselves on the map. So you were told to stay humble by someone who has, by a club who has, by a team who has. And whatever you may think of us is totally up to you. But we have put ourselves on the map. So do not, when we say stay humble, it's coming from a place of goodwill. It's advice. I thought Haaland was doing a nice thing, you know? And he gets that thrown back in his face by Gabriel, who mocks him, and some kid called Miles, who copied his celebration.
Like, I don't think people actually understand how ridiculous it is with Arsenal. The amount of chest they give it. We on the last stream, we literally went through this. I was like 8 months old the last time they won a league title. I have no conscious memory of Arsenal lifting a league title. It just hasn't happened in my lifetime. Literally, it happened once, and I don't even know if I could walk yet. Like, come on, let's be real. You know, do something for your chat. You know what I mean?
Like, you know what, Joe? Even if they had have won tonight, yeah, and they went on to win the Carabao Cup, there would still be a part of me saying, all right, they've actually won a trophy. You know, they're they're getting their feet on the ground. They're wetting their lips, as they say, when it comes to winning silverware. Like, you know, a lot of our players who were with us since the Centurion season talk about like that first Carabao Cup win and how that was a big building platform for us to go on and become what we did. I'd say, they're winning trophy. They won a trophy. They're setting the marker now for where they want to kick on from. But there's nothing to kick on from. You have a couple big results a season and that lead to nothing, you know. So I just don't get it. And it brings me joy to know they're not going to win any more trophies, or they're not going to win any trophies this season. And it brings me great joy to know that we're en route to getting back to the top. Look, we could talk about it a bit more if we want, people. We could talk about it a bit more, but I do want to talk about the actual game because, look, we're Man City fans. There's only so much shit talking about Arsenal I can do. I just don't give a bollocks at the end of the day. They'll be here regardless. You know, they always are. But we're here to talk about City. So look, hit the likes, man. Like I said, 20 likes off 100. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'll have a look at these member chats and super chats. Then we'll talk about Sunday's game. And I do want to talk about Gonzalez. JTI, member for 9 months. Big up to you, JTI, man. Long-time supporter. He says, big up you two every damn time. Smash those likes, man. Listen to JTI. He's a great guy. Bars. Briggsy, member for 1 year. Joe, soundboard. Let's go, Briggsy. 1 year. Happy anniversary, man. That's absolutely wild that you've been a member for a year. I don't know if anybody else is on a year yet. I know you were the first, Briggsy, but a year, crazy, man. Love to you for all your support, man. He says, stay humble. Well, I am to the 1 year anniversary. Big up to you, Briggsy, man. You know we got love for you, my guy. Sign Silva, big up Hugh and Joe. Stay humble, eh? Before we went live, I was actually sitting here going, stay humble, eh? I was trying to do my best Haaland impression, but it just doesn't seem as cool when I do it for some reason. Big up to you, San Silva. Joe Griffiths, but Hugh, remember, trust the process. This is it. There's always a fucking excuse. There's always a reason. It was, first of all, well, we're only in phase 1, we're only in phase 2, we're only in phase fucking I don't know what. Then it was, we can't compete with Man City. We'll have to get there when City fall off. That's when we'll take over. That's when we get in the driving seat. When City fall off. City have fallen off. Like, horrendously fallen off. And you're not there. You didn't get off the right stop. You missed your destination. Yeah? You stayed on too long. You missed your stop, mate. Trust the process. Big up to you, Joe Griffiths. Punny, big up to you, Punny, man. Always good to see you, brother. Hugh and Joe, so happy to see the Bottlers lose. They are Bottlers, man. You know, they're always going on about Spursy this and Spursy that. There's an element of that to Arsenal, a big element. You know, then that whole North London area, whatever they're putting in the water over there, they're Bottlers. That, like, Joe, that Carabao Cup, it was there for Arsenal to go and win. There for them.
Yeah, of course. Like, Liverpool was still in it, granted. But we all saw what they did last year with Chelsea. They managed to beat Chelsea with the kids. That's how highly they valued that competition. No, I get it. It's a different manager. Andy Slot's different. Maybe he would go for it. Because, like you said before, with, you know, in them early seasons of Pep, the players that were around there saying how a Carabao Cup, you know, spurred them on for the rest of the season was a really good marker. I think Andy Slot would probably view the Carabao Cup in a similar way, where if he can win a trophy within his first sort of, you know, 6, 7, 8 months of being in the, you know, as Liverpool manager, he will gladly take that. So, yeah, Liverpool is still in it. They're going to overturn Spurs, which they will. Let's be clear. It's Tottenham. You know, it's in the history of the Tottenham. It's not going to happen. They're not going to hold that. So, you'd imagine Liverpool would be in the final, and it's a one-off at that point. You never know what's going to happen at Wembley. One-off, 90 minutes. You know, who knows? And Arsenal desperately need it. Because, again, they ain't got no winners. They ain't got... Only winners they have are ones that used to belong to us.
Exactly, yeah. We even gave you some winners. We gave you some winners, and you still couldn't win. Big up to you, Punny, man. Always good to see you, my brother. Professional idiot, the king. The king is in the house, people. Show some love to the king. He says, Arsenal trophyless again. Let's go. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Trophyless again. They are going trophyless again. They're not going to win the Champions League. I'll put this channel on them not winning the Champions League, and they're not going to win the Premier League either. I'd be very, very surprised if they do go on to win it. I don't think they have that juice. I think there's too many Liverpool players in that squad who have been at this stage too many times, and they're not going to let it slip. They're not competing against an animal like the animal City was, you know, for all those years, who would ultimately catch them and overtake them. They're competing with this Arsenal team who have a habit of bottling. Big up to you, Professional Indie Man. Good to see you, my king. He said, LFC Sai, LFC, our resident Liverpool fan. LFC Sai, I'm sure you're feeling very good about this title race. Even though they won on the weekend, Arsenal, I'd still say you're feeling very confident. You don't care about Arsenal bottle jobs. Sai, I want your opinion, man. I want your opinion. As a Liverpool fan for a long time, I want your opinion. How do you compare your title races with us to your title race with Arsenal? Your feel factor, you know? How you feel in the midst of the title race. I know you know the outcome from the previous ones, but your feel factor, bro.
That's a ridiculous question. I feel like I could answer that one. It's night and day fucking difference.
Let's sigh, man. Let's sigh. Big up to you, sigh, my bro. And then Darsh, good to see you, Darsh, as well. A lot of the OGs here. He says, remember, Hugh, Marino's going to unlock... He's another one. Who are you? Who are you, Marino? Who's Marino? Who's Lewis Skelly? Who are you guys?
Just another giant that can hit from a corner.
Yeah. Who are any of you? I don't know you. This is where we're at, you know? People gassing each other up for no reason. Who are you? Marino. Who the fuck's Marino? Don't know you. Fuck me. We're 9 likes. 9 likes off 100, man. Surely we can hit 9 likes in a second. We're going to chat about the match. Oh, Sambor twice, Joe, for the 5. Professional idiot, our king of the members, doing what he does best, showing love with the 5 gifted. Ash Kun got one, Nishay got one, Alpha got one, Locke got one, and Riju got one. All of you, make sure you go out of your way to thank our king, because he doesn't have to do that. He's always showing love, though. Always making sure you guys are looked after. Big up to you, our king, professional idiot, with the 5 gifted. We always appreciate anyone who super chats or gifts, because you don't have to do that. But, you know, it's really nice when you do. If you don't want to, just hit the like button and subscribe. You are the king, though, professionally. We've always known that we can't get that skewed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Who are you, Marino? I know who you are, professional idiot. Right, 6 likes off 100. Let's chat, Joe. Let's chat. Let's tone it down, people. We have to talk about our own club again.
Yay! I can't fucking wait for this. Oh, God.
Arsenal 5, City 1, away at the Emirates, 5-1 loss. My review, I'm sure plenty of you saw it. It's on like 11,000 views at this point. I was angry. I was very, very angry after the game. I'm not angry anymore. I'm over it, the emotion of it, but I'm still hugely disappointed with the manner in which we lost that game. The scoreline reflects the performance. You know, when you look at things and say, you look at games or big losses or big wins either way and go, the scoreline doesn't reflect the game. The scoreline does reflect that game. It does. And I'm not arsed about deflections. I'm not arsed about things that went their way. The fact of the matter is, the scoreline reflects the game, and City were brutal. City were absolute. I really don't, and I'm not saying this to be salty. I do not think for 1 second Arsenal were amazing. I don't think they were out of this world, something we just couldn't compete with. You know, Joe, over the years, the way we say City are their own worst enemies more time, you know, the way we're the masters of our own downfall. That's exactly what it was, because there was periods in that game. There was where we were looking kind of up to it. We were kind of warming into it. You get the Haaland goal, you're thinking, boom, that's going to be the turning point. And then that disgrace of a defence and that disgrace of a midfield just completely crumble and let the floodgates open. Like, I have no interest in talking about title races, obviously long gone. Barely have an interest in talking about winning the Champions League, because I hold little to no hope against Real Madrid. FA Cup, go for it. FA Cup, why not? Go for it. But what I do want to see is, regardless of how the team is doing results-wise, I want to see desire, I want to see care, I want to see passion, and I want to see players who still give a fuck. Even if you're not physically up to what you used to be able to be up to, maybe your Stoneses, De Bruyne's, Bernardo's, whoever, talk about whoever you want. I just want to see players who actively care, you know, actively are leading, actively are trying to get this shit back in order. And that doesn't mean win a league. It doesn't. It just means don't lose in that fucking manner. Because that was a disgrace what we saw on the weekend, Joe. And I don't think I've ever said that properly. I may have said it in the heat of the moment a couple of times, but I've never come 3 days after a game and still said what we saw was a disgrace. Because it was. That was not a Manchester City side that is taking things seriously right now, that's in good mental, in a good mental space, that is feeling confident. That is a City team with far more problems than just some players aren't that good anymore. Anyway, give me your thoughts and chat. Now that we're a few days past the game, give me all of your thoughts too. We're going to read out some of your chats if you send them in. But let's have a chat about it, because there's a lot to really break down. Like, we will talk about Gonzalez and if he fixes much for us. But I mean, the Arsenal 5-1 loss was awful.
I mean, where do you want me to start? Like, you said I'm not over it. I'm a little bit more over it than I was maybe a few hours ago, because Arsenal have gone pretty much ended their season, which, you know, it's a nice cushioning blow. But I mean, where do I start? I mean, every man to a T was abysmal. Maybe you can point to Savio. You know, he tried, got his assist, beautiful delivery again. Haaland got his goal. What else? What else have we got? I am sick and tired of seeing Matheus Nunes play as a fucking right back. Right back. Are you mad? Seriously, we've got Real Madrid coming up soon. Oh my God, he's going to get skinned inside and out multiple times if he's playing right back. I don't care who you shove there, whether it's Akanji, whether it's Rico Lewis, whether it's one of the new boys that we've just signed, maybe one of them can play right back. I don't care who it is, but I'm not dealing with Matheus Nunes playing as a right back against Vinicius Jr. It cannot run, because the tie will be over within half an hour. Dead serious, it'll be over within half an hour. Vinicius will be on a hat-trick. Calling it now. This is a recipe for disaster. I mean, that's one area. Ortega, oh my good God. For anyone who decided to sit here in the summer and tell us that selling Ederson was not a bad idea because we have Ortega and he can be number one, please give yourself a reality check. There are levels to this game. That third goal should be saving that. Yes, we deserve to lose 5-1. Arsenal missed loads of sitters in the first half as well. Let's not take the piss. It could have been worse, right? But those were Arsenal misses. It wasn't like Ortega was making mad save after mad save, you know, De Gea settings at the Emirates where he's making 11 saves. No, I thought it was a hologram. Might as well have not been there. What are we doing here? So everyone who was trying to tell people that, you know, we sell Ederson because we've got Ortega, nonsense. He's not good enough to be number one here. Maybe he's good enough to be number one somewhere else because I think he's a bit better than number two. I will say that. I'm happy to say that. But he's not number one here. He's not. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. And then you've got the rest of the defence. I mean, can I cut Vardy some slack because he's played pretty much every game? Maybe. But then again, at some point, you got to stop making mistakes, regardless of how much football you're being asked to play. Got to stop making mistakes. Akanji, oh my God, what's happened to him in the last few weeks? Looks like a fish out of water. I don't get it. I really don't get it. John Stones, he's in his sort of era where he's playing 20. We're getting his 20 games a season in. I mean, realistically, should he still be here? I think he's one of the top earners as well. What's the point? You get 20 games out of him. You know, he appears randomly in February, might end the season strong, but for the first half of it, he's gone. You know, when we need him, we've got Nunes playing at right back. We need defenders, and John Stone's out training. I think it's bizarre that he's come back off the back of us signing 2 centre-backs. I really do. I really do find it strange how we heard nothing on his injury, how long he was going to be out for, what he'd done, you know, what the timetable was. We go and sign 2 centre-backs and all of a sudden he's back in training. I really don't understand. Like, John Stones is just a conundrum for me. I really do not get it. And then we move on. Midfield. I mean, what midfield? At this point, what midfield? I mean, it's disgraceful. I am so sick of this stubborn, and I will say it. I will call, you know, a little bit of blame in his direction because he keeps picking him. But this stubborn manager picking his children in midfield, picking his guys in midfield. I don't know how many times I have to see Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo in any combination whatsoever. Doesn't matter. If you have 2 of those, it's a recipe for disaster. They're too old. They're too slow. They don't contribute going forward. How many times does one of them get on the ball and actually look forwards? There was a screen grab. Someone got a screen grab of it. I think it was in the first half. Marmoush would have been through. one-on-one. He was making a running behind the defence. Bernardo Silva's getting on the ball and taking 20 touches and turning backwards. Like, what's wrong with him? Gundogan does the same thing. His first touch is instantly to turn around and go backwards. Kovacic, his first touch is either to turn around and go backwards, or he's trying to dribble through half the team and losing the ball. Cost us a goal against PSG. It's almost cost us numerous times in games in general. For as much as I blame those players for their shortcomings and their poor performances, at some point I do have to turn around and look at Pep and going, why are you still picking these guys? I know you want to give the opportunity to the guys who won all the trophies to get us out of this mess, but we're 3 months into this mess of, losing loads of games, and they ain't done fuck all. So, like, at what point do you turn around and go, you know what, let me try something different. Nico O'Reilly, you get a run in the team. James McAtee, you get a start. Something else. Why? And also, as well, I don't know why it's taken us until, the 2nd of February to sign a midfielder.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing. I genuinely don't know what we're doing. The problem is not in attack. We fixed the problem. We had a problem at the start of the season in attack, where Haaland was the only guy who looked like he could put the ball in the net. We signed Marmoush. Foden comes back from his injury. Savio kicks on. Attack looks great now. With no problem with scoring goals. We made it 1-1. It's just midfield is non-existent and the defense is just a complete mess. It's just a mess. Then I don't know how you fix it without changing personnel. I mean, it's not like we've been blessed with the options to be able to change personnel. A lot of the times we've been forced to play certain players week in, week out because we've got nothing else. But, I mean, we went from the start of the season, Rico Lewis start every game. And he's been on the bench for how many weeks? Like, is he ever going to start again this season? Is Pep taking out the firing line? Like he probably would have wanted to do earlier on in the season, but didn't get the chance. And if so, why has he not, had his opportunity to play more? Because I'm sorry, watching Mateus Nunes at right back is a disaster. He doesn't know how to defend at all.
There's too many issues with the overall play. Like if you start with the defense, too many players there who either aren't good enough or just not confident enough to play without someone like Ruben Diaz. Spoke about that with LB. And then you look at the attack. I think the big one for me was the lack of enthusiasm to take risks. It was the lack of interest in counter-attacking or to play that ball. Like you said, Marmoush makes run after run. Haaland will make movement after movement. They get absolutely nothing. Why? Because the midfielders that are on the pitch aren't going to be creative. They're not going to take those risks. They're not going to, try and execute something that's going to cut Arsenal open. Like I said it on LB's channel the other day, like how many fucking times did we see Nunes get the ball out in the right wing and just turn back? Just turn back. Just turn back.
All of them. They all do it. Every single one of them. First instinct, turn around, go backwards. Because they know that we are too old and too slow, and if we get caught on a counter-attack, it's finished. It's done. It's finished. No one's catching them. That midfield is not catching anyone. It's just players running straight at our defence. So they know that, so they're scared to take the risk.
I don't think Partey, Rice, and Odegaard is a formidable midfield. I think it's a good midfield. I think it's a good midfield, but I don't think it's one that you should be looking at going, they're just going to overrun us totally. I won't accept that the midfield should be as non-existent as ours was against Arsenal, and we should just be that cut open. Like I know we're talking a lot about the defence and the deficiencies they have, because they do, but you always do have to give a defence some slack when a midfield is so fucking poor. Like there's too many times throughout the season where our defence is just non-existent. A team hits us on the break and they score. That's what happens. That's what happens for Lewis Kelly's goal, for Ranieri's goal, for Havertz's goal. It's just straight into our box. There you go. Have a go at Stones. Have a go at Akanji. Take on Nunes. Take on Vardiol while you're at it, because the midfielders don't want to fucking know. I refuse to believe that they can just fall off that badly where they're just non-existent. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, whatever about Bernardo Silva frustrating me when he's on the ball and not being creative enough, at the very least, he still does have legs, and he's not getting around the pitch. His press is non-existent. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, let me get up the team sheet to play the other day. I'm gonna have a chat about some of the players, because it just didn't. I just didn't feel like I was watching Manchester City at times throughout that game. Arsenal versus Man City. Where's the team sheet?
Oh yeah, get a big 5-1 blasted in my face again. I mean, come on, let's be fucking real. Like, there's not a chance that you can lose this game. I was expecting to lose, to be honest. Like, that was my expectation, was for us to lose because Arsenal wanted it, and I knew that we were fragile. But fuck me, that was dreadful. I mean, I'm just looking at a pivot of Kovacic and Bernardo Silva. I mean, what is the fucking point?
Useless. It's really, really and truly useless. Like, there's no creativity there. And I'm looking at the midfield as a unit. And that includes Phil Foden in that unit. Like, I was really, really disappointed with Phil Foden. You know, you're player of the year. You're not playing like player of the year. In midfield, at least offer something going forward. Not expecting Phil Foden to be a pressing machine. Not expecting Phil Foden to be turning over possession too often. But I am expecting you to have some prowess going forward. Non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. I'm looking at this team sheet and I'm trying to remember performances. I can remember goals, I can remember incidents, but I'm trying to remember any impact anyone had on the pitch.
Because he's garbage.
I didn't know I forgot Marmoush was on the pitch, and that's not even a dig at him.
Because what's he supposed to do? I mean, like, some team sheets have him down as the 10, because, again, we know this. He's going to be very central. He's not going to be a winger, is he? Like, he's going to be in the middle of the pitch, sort of hanging off of Haaland. But when you have a pivot behind you of Mateo turn 180 degrees and pass backwards Kovacic, and Bernardo Silva, who does the exact same fucking thing, takes 20 touches and passes sideways, he's not getting the ball. And, like, he's not going to get in the box because Haaland's being man-marked by half of the Arsenal team. You know, the one goal that he did manage to get, he managed to peel off around the back. Great cross from Savio. That's a moment that you can remember. But if all that happens if Marmoush gets in the box is that takes one player out from the outside of the box that can make something happen and just crowds the penalty area even more. It doesn't, you know, there's no advantage to him trying to move into the 18-yard box to try and find some space because there is none. There's none, otherwise Haaland would have found it by now. You know what I mean? So, like, what can he do if he's not getting the ball? And you got Phil Foden, who you would hope would, you know, add to some creativity and be able to make something happen. But again, I mean, it's for as much as I want more from him, again, it's hard. I mean, look at his side of the pitch. Bernardo Silva and Mateus Nunes are on his side of the pitch. Do you know how frustrating that must be to be playing both of them at the moment? Oh my God. He passes both of them the ball, and then within 5 seconds, they've maybe run 5 yards, passed it back to him, and gone, you do something with it instead. Like, what is he working with here? What are those forward players working with? Realistically, in midfield, what are them forward players working with? Phil Foden needs to do more. Maybe he definitely should take more accountability and more of an onus to make something happen. But, you know, Kevin De Bruyne is on the bench. That's another one that baffles me. That's more on Pep than anything else. But, you know, you're playing ahead of this guy who has made, you know, quite a significant, you know, occurrence of dunking on Arsenal. Let's be real. Kevin De Bruyne loves a goal against Arsenal, and he's on the bench. Yeah, like Phil Foden gets the nod ahead of De Bruyne. He plays, and it's kind of like, well, why have you not done anything? You know, where is your output? But again, when he's playing sort of in that sort of, I'd call it the right half space. I don't want to get too technical, but you know, we're playing with 2 10s. Marmoush is basically one of them. Savio's out on the left. Foden's the other one. Nunes is out wide right. So you got Marmoush and Foden basically as 2 10s. Foden's on the right-hand side of that. And on his side of the pitch is Bernardo Silva and Mateus Nunes. And it's just, I would hate to play with both of those because they both just, you're passing the ball, you get it back. And you get nowhere.
That's it. It was just so fucking. That's another thing that frustrated me. It was just so easy to defend against us. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you keep Haaland quiet, you keep Marmoush a bit quiet. Phil Foden didn't need to be kept quiet. He was quiet anyway. So you're fine. Let us stick around in the wings. Let us stick around the halfway line because we were never going to get anywhere. At least the Arsenal midfield and defense is solid. Let me get up this member chat. Make sure you hit the like button, people. Keep getting those likes up. Big up Noah, member for 11 months. Big up, lads. Dismal game. Want to see Reese. Well, this is it. Like, would any of the new lads or the 2 new lads, Cousinov or Reese, have made any
They
any
couldn't
difference?
do fucking worse. Let me tell you that much. Jesus Christ! Like sometimes it's just schoolboy stuff.
I don't know. I don't know if they would have changed, if they would have improved anything. No, I don't know if they would
I
have.
ain't saying they would have like won us the game or got us a point, but again, could they do worse?
No, I don't think they would have done much worse than what was out there. I just look at the team and I say, there's fuck all leadership. And this isn't one of those situations where we all go, oh, but if we had Ruben Diaz, you can't look at Ruben Diaz and say, you need to fucking get the whole shit together on a day like that. I'm looking at Stones, I'm looking at Foden, I'm looking at Bernardo, I'm looking at, these players. Foden, you are a senior player to me now. I whatever about your age being 24, whatever you are now, you're a senior player to me. I'm looking at you saying you've been around a long time. You've ran this race many times. You've worn the t-shirt. So in games like that, like as Joe said, you're getting the nod over Kevin De Bruyne. I'm looking at you saying you need to make something happen. You need to galvanize the players. You need to be a leader. Stones, Akanji's a passenger too often this season. An absolute passenger. We know what when he's good, he's great. But otherwise, unless he's feeling great about himself and he has the right players around him that he needs to flourish, he's an absolute passenger. Like I said it so many times, the goal that Cousinov gave away against Chelsea, yeah, dreadful, whatever, howler. But Akanji could have done so much more there to help the kid. And as a senior player in our squad, a treble winner, a two-time Premier League winner, help the kid out. Go through the kid to get the ball into the stand. You could have booted that into the Colin Bell. The Arsenal game, you were an absolute passenger. Non-existent. You may as well not have been there. You were no help to Nunez. You were no help to yourself. No help to Ortega. I just look at too many players and go, you are not taking the responsibility that you should take. And that's affecting everyone. Because you're looking at newer, younger players like Reece, like Cousinov. Marmouche has just come in. He's going to need guidance. This Gonzalez kid who's just come in too. They're going to look over their shoulders at the players around them and say, all right, give me some help here. Like, give me some guidance. What do I need to do? And if you're fucking up yourself, it's not help. It's no help. That's what I'm saying, BRG. Foden isn't 17 anymore. Like, we need to stop. We need to, first of all, start looking at the players who aren't performing well enough and not taking on the responsibility and say, A, do we get rid of them? B, what do they need to improve, etc., etc. And then after that, we need to look at the players who were maybe the fringe players or the younger players, in the not so in the recent past, and are now players that should be taking on responsibility. That's the way I look at it with Phil Foden. I really do. And then we're saying like the one that I think clicked with me on the weekend, Joe, was the midfield signing thing. And I said in my video, I was like, if you really think just signing a midfielder is going to fix all these problems, you're horrendously wrong. Like, if you think this Gonzalez guy is going to come in and we're just going to go, boom, we're playing like Man City again, you're horrendously wrong. The problem in that dressing room right now is much deeper than missing a holding midfielder. Much deeper. I think there's mentality issues. I think there's character issues. And I think there's confidence issues. And just throwing a midfielder in there, a 60 million midfielder who you signed on the, what is it? There was the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd of February, whatever it was. It does. What?
It's ridiculous that it took until February, by the way. February.
I don't know how I feel about that signing. I like him. I from what I've seen, as I said this on LB's channel the other day, I've only seen his best moments, so of course I'm going to like him based off that. You're only going to see what's good about him. But the whole situation doesn't scream, this is exactly what we wanted all along. This was our guy. Because if it was our guy, I think we'd have paid the release clause 3-4 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. I don't think we would have signed him on the 2nd of February. Tell me what you think, people. Tell me what you think, Joe. It looks a little bit like he was kind of just something we needed to get, or else we get nothing, last resort type situation.
It's panic. It's 100% a panic. They've seen we've got absolutely bounced and gone, shit, we need something now. We can't go the rest of the season without something in the middle. We have to get one now. Because, I'll tell you why I think this. Because I don't think he was first choice anyway. There's a couple of different options. However, I believe we paid his release clause, which is something that we normally do. We normally pay release clauses, right? But we were negotiating at what, like 20 million euros below his price, like last week. Like we were trying to get him on a discount, trying to negotiate a fee instead of paying his release clause. And it's like, how many times does City buckle? How many times does City buckle to the transfer demands of a player and go, hey, you know what, we'll just pay the money? They don't. They don't. Whenever we go to sign a player, if we don't think it's a good deal, we walk away. Maguire, too much money, walked away. You know, Kane, too much money, walked away. How many times? How many times? Centre backs, Koulibaly, nah, Ruben Diaz instead. Second, sometimes third choice. Cucurella as well. I mean, we ended up with Sergio Gomez, who basically didn't play, but we didn't pay. We didn't want to pay for Cucurella, so we went for another option. I don't think, and this is the thing that pisses me off even more about the signing, because for one, it's way too late. Should have happened in the summer. Should have happened with his release clause at the start of January. January 1st, he should be in the door. But what pisses me off even more is if I don't think we sign him if we don't get embarrassed. I don't think City go all out and, bend their whole transfer policy and pay more than maybe they were hoping for to sign a player, especially in January after we've made 3 signings already, if we don't get battered. If we lose that game 2-1, or we get a result, we draw, win, whatever, if it's narrow, I don't think we go all out and sign him. I really don't. I don't think we're sat here going, yes, we've got a new midfielder. I really don't. Because I think City would have tried to keep negotiating. And, Porto weren't going to decrease their value. But because we lost so bad and, the gaps in the team were evident and it's clear that they're not going to change overnight and there is no immediate solution, they went into the transfer market and they decided, you know what, it's maybe a bit more than we wanted to pay, but we need this player. And it's someone that, is young enough to be around for a while. It's someone who I don't believe is an out-and-out 6. There's out-and-out 6 people have been crying out for, but he can play there. It's a bit of cover. And again, because he's young, you'd imagine that, it'd be hard for him to run less than Kovacic and Gundogan. So, all in all, in terms of the signing, yes, I'm happy we've made it because we needed it. But the circumstances around it, the amount of time it took us, for us to do this. And again, the fact that I'm not even so sure that we'd have got him if we'd have got a result against Arsenal. It's just, it pisses me off even more because it's like they needed a serious wake-up call. They needed a serious shock to the system, a 5-1, to sign a midfielder, to act. It's ridiculous.
It's definitely something worth thinking about. Faisal seems to agree with you. He says, this is my view on it. We put these 6-8 hybrids in a list and pursued it from top to bottom. I think City thought we'd be okay with the squad. The battering, I think, triggered it. I'm struggling to decide if I think the result impacted it. Were they just sending it out before the Arsenal game and they were like, we'll see how the Arsenal game goes. And if the Arsenal game goes our way or we're happy enough with it, we won't go for him. And if the Arsenal game is horrendous, we will go for. I don't know. I don't know. You can.
I think it does. I think it does. And Danny makes a point there. We signed Diaz after 5-2 Leicester. Within 24 hours, Ruben Diaz was through the door because we conceded 5. I've seen this before.
Well, if he works out like Ruben Diaz, we've got a good signing. But
hopefully less injury prone than the guy at the moment. Because my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I whatever about the game. That's one conversation, and I'm happy to have it. But the whole circumstance, the wider picture, concerns me. How long it took to find them or to get the deal done. If you're bargaining over 15-20 million for him, and then you ultimately say, okay, fine, we'll pay the release clause. What was the thought process? I'm not too sure. Like I said, I've watched his compilations. I've never watched them live, to my knowledge. Anyway, he looks like a decent player. He looks like a good player. Is he going to fix all our problems? No. Like I said, people, I really do think there's a mentality issue in the squad right now. There's a message I wanted to get up here now from Spartacus. Big up to you. He says, you can't ask a player to step up when everyone is playing at a 3 or a 4 out of 10 level. Foden is not Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, or Maradona. It's unfair to ask him to do that. I think it's unfair to ask Phil Foden to win the game in his own and to have ridiculous moments of magic But I think it is fair at this stage of Phil Foden's career to look at him and say, you should take some responsibility. You should be impacting the game more, and you should be impacting the dressing room more. I think it's definitely fair to expect more of Phil Foden as a personality in the Manchester City dressing room, and not just show us what your football ability is anymore. I think it's totally fair to expect more leadership from Phil Foden. He's sitting there with 6 Premier League medals. He's sitting there with a Champions League medal and however many cup medals. I don't know what you think, Joe. I think it's totally fair to expect a lot more from Phil Foden. Right now, both on the pitch as a footballer, but also on the pitch and off the pitch as a personality. I want him to take accountability. I want him to take responsibility, and I want him to be a marshal in that team. Fair.
Of course it's fair. Oh, I wanted to stand up and be accounted. It's again, I remember a quote from, I think it was Mourinho, who said it on Sky Sports a few years ago when he was talking about Rashford. Same thing applies to Phil Foden. He's a young player in terms of age. He is nowhere near a young player in terms of appearances. He already has well into the hundreds, maybe. I don't even know how many appearances at this point. Like, I might actually get it up just to be an example, but I know it's a lot. It's definitely over 100, 100%.
Oh, it is. Well over 100. Over 100.
I don't even know if it maybe 200. I don't know. But that's a little bit. So
why do I think Phil Foden is over like 250 people?
It might be.
One of you in the chat knows
It
this.
might be over 250. Like, it's all seasons appearances. He has, for the senior team, almost 300. There you go then. Almost 300. He's on 299. It says on Transfer Market. So, his next game will be game number 300 for the senior team. So he's a young player by age, but he is so far off of being a young player by experience and games played. He has so much experience at the top level as well. He started playing when we were, trying to win the Champions League. So this is high-level stuff. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, PSG, all these big away days that he's been on, that he's scored in, the Bernabeu, all of these, Wembley. He's been in these big stadiums. International stage as well. He's been in the big stage. So I expect more. Player of the season. I'm pretty sure. Has he won 2 young player of the seasons or just the 1? I know he's won it 1, but I think it was twice. I'm not actually too sure. Anyway, multiple individual awards that he has won. I expect him to do more. I don't expect him to do the messy thing of being able to run through half a team and score and win a game by yourself. He's not that level. I know Pep said it years ago at this point, almost a decade ago at this point, that he's the most talented youngster he's ever worked with, right? But he ain't Messi level, because no one is. I don't expect him to go and turn up at the Emirates and score a hat-trick and win us the game. But what I do expect is for him to take more accountability and to look like he's going to make something happen. And there was not one point in that game where I looked at Phil Foden and gone, you know what, something's going to come from him. He's going to make something happen. And there's been multiple games where I've been able to say that, where I look at him and go, I just don't see it. I don't really see what he's going to do unless, a moment happens out of nothing, which he has done. Case in point, the game against Brentford, he pops out of nowhere and scores 2 goals. I don't think he was, outstanding or anything like majorly impressive, but he got his 2 goals. He did his job, but it kind of came out of nowhere. Against Arsenal, I didn't see it. I didn't see no moments coming out of nowhere. He needed to do more because that's the expectation. The expectation is you were voted by the media, by the players, managers, whoever, everyone involved as the best player in the Premier League last season in a league-winning side. You were the best. You were voted for as the best by everyone. And it took him till, December to score his first goal of the season? And only now he started to pick up every now and then. It's like, I need more. I know he's playing with absolute bombs at the moment, but I still need more because if this is the guy we've got taken over from the Kevin De Bruyne mantle, how many times would Kevin De Bruyne dig us out of a hole? Just, again, out of nowhere. Put one in the top corner from outside the box. Play someone through, one-on-one. Great delivery into the box for, a chance. We've got Haaland, got Marmoush, got all these players. Behind him it's a mess, but all the stuff in front of him is fine. saying, "Oh, make something happen and be a bit more consistent." Because, I mean, he's allowed a bad season. But most players have a bad season, but it's bordering on ridiculous. Like at this point, you are being trusted to be the main guy. He's got his wish. He cried and cried and cried and said he's not really a winger, he's a midfielder. He got his wish. He's playing in the middle. That's where he said himself he sees it, his game best and most suited to, being in the middle. And he ain't delivered. He's not delivered.
There's no doubt he's an absolutely exceptional footballer. And I just don't think it's wrong to expect more of him as a leader. And I'm not saying, shout and roar. I'm just saying in moments like Sunday, step up and say, okay, I'm gonna be the man here. I'm gonna try and galvanize this team. Like Matali says, where's the one? Kevin wasn't like that at 24. Kevin De Bruyne had company. Kevin De Bruyne had Fernandinho. Kevin De Bruyne had Otamendi. Kevin De Bruyne had Fabian Delph. Kevin De Bruyne had Aguero. Kevin De Bruyne had David Silva. Kevin De Bruyne had, who else was there in that team around then? Kevin De Bruyne had leaders. Like everywhere on the pitch, there was leaders. People like leaders in that squad and that team, who nourished the likes of John Stones to become what they are, what he is now. So I don't think Kevin needed to. I don't think Phil Foden needs to be the level of Vincent Kompany or be the level of any of these guys. I just mean in moments of need. I'm not saying when you're playing Leyton Orient. I'm not saying when you're playing, a run-of-the-mill Premier League game that you probably should be winning and everyone's playing well, that Phil Foden needs to be shouting and roaring. I'm just saying in moments of need, I look at my players and go, who here has the credentials to step up and take some responsibility? And I know we're spending a long time on Phil Foden, and that's probably unfair because I love Phil Foden. I think he's an amazing footballer, and the only reason we spend so much time on him is because he's such an amazing footballer. That when he's under par or maybe not hitting the heights you want him to for quite a period, you kind of have to have a conversation about it. It's just I mean that's kind of it. JT, you don't ask him to be a leader. Just show us what you're about. He's City through and through. He's born blue. He's at the club since he's 8. Just in moments of need, in moments of distress, when everyone's down, the chips are down, heads are dropping. Give us something. That's all. That's all. I think he's amazing. I do. I think he's amazing, and I think he will ultimately turn out to be what I'm talking about. I have no doubt. It's just not. It's one of those seasons that we haven't experienced properly in a long time, where a lot of things are going wrong. The manager, things people don't even talk about, the manager has his own problems too, doesn't he? Like with his own personal life and all sorts of things going wrong. So it's one of those seasons where you just have problems. And these are problems that we can talk about day and night, and we can all argue who's right and who's wrong. At the end of the day, none of us properly fucking know, do we? None of us properly know. But I mean, the positive to kind of end that negative conversation is I do believe we're going in the right direction to fixing it, and there's a proper rebuild on the cards. Now, like I said, it very much remains to be seen if this Gonzalez guy is what we need. For all we know, he could turn out to be the next Rodri. He could, and we're going, fuck me, maybe it was a masterstroke getting in for 60 million. Could be the case, but hopefully it is. That would be unbelievable. Same with Cousinov, same with the young Brazilian kid. These could turn out to be world-class players that we're going, fucking wow. They're unbelievable signings. And we signed Marmoush, who I know is going to be a great signing, and I believe we're going to get a lot more this summertime. So the positive is, I don't believe, first of all, that we're heading down a dark tunnel that we can't get out of, with no exit route, I just think we have to be really strategic in what we do. I don't think we can afford a summer window coming up where we sign 4 or 5 players and 2 or 3 of them are blunders. I don't think you can, because once you start that business, that's when you get into your cycle of getting yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. Like Man United's, like Chelsea's, when you sign loads of players who aren't good enough and they're not what the manager wants, then you spend the next summer trying to get rid of them and replace them. That doesn't work out. Players stand their ground, and whole fucking circus. But I am satisfied. I'm satisfied with the business. Based on the hand of cards we're dealt right now, Joe, I'm satisfied with it. At least we got our 6. I'd rather a 6 than no 6.
I mean, so would I, but I ain't gonna sit here and say it's a 7, 8 out of 10 window because the most important piece came on deadline day in the 11th hour. Like, if you would have signed it again, he was the one with he had fucking release clause. Like, let's be real. It's still, I'm happy it happened. I'm pleased with the players we signed, but 2 of them are very much for the future. They ain't ready now. They are not ready to play week in, week out now at this level. Marmoush, good signing by all accounts, and cost of a geezer. But we'll see whether he's good enough to play the 6. Maybe he'll be good enough to play the 8. But then we're still stumbling around for a 6 in the summer, aren't we? So yeah, I guess we kind of just have to wait and see. But it's still like average because it took so long. We needed a midfielder at the start of the season. Rodri done his ACL in September, so we needed one even more since September, and it took until February 2nd to sign one. It's just sitting on your hands, waiting for something to fall into your lap. Just be proactive, get something done, man. Like, again, I'm happy because, again, we've signed players, and I wasn't expecting us to go and sign 4. I was barely expecting us to go and sign like 2. We don't operate like that. So like, yes, I'm happy, but same time, it's still like, it's not perfect, is it?
No, not perfect. So I say get through the season. I think top 4, top 5, whatever it is now has to be got. Give a crack at the FA Cup. We can see what happens against Madrid. God only knows. And that's kind of it, really. I have it off my chest now. I'm at peace with the Arsenal game. I'm very much at peace with it. It would be kind of typical City in a weird way to get battered by Arsenal 5-1, then put in a bit of a performance against Real Madrid. So who knows? Who knows, man? What day is that game on next week? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
I've tried to blank it from my mind.
It is Tuesday. So we'll be live on Wednesday. Me and Joe, this day next week, same time, same place. Talk about the Real Madrid game and how the first leg went. Like I said, it's once a week shows for the minute, but we have done it now 3 weeks in a row. Bit of consistency there. Might get a video out after
more consistency than the fucking team.
More consistency than the fucking team, yeah. We might get something out after the Leyton Orient game, but definitely this time next week, same time, same place. Just 1 hour a week where you lot can come in, tell us we're dickheads. We'll tell you you're dickheads if you are. And we'll all just have a good laugh. We'll all just have a good debate about our opinions and this, that, the other. Arsenal are out, which is great at the Carabao Cup. Nice and funny. Stay humble. But we have a lot to do. Look, we'll leave it there. Just hit the hour mark now. Back live next Wednesday. Set your reminders, and we'll see you then. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Good night and God bless. Wrap her up, Joey Boy.
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand.